Now, we heard earlier about making applications to employers for their degree apprenticeship programmes and how daunting this can be for sixth formers. I'm joined now by Abdullah Mir, the Early Careers Assistant Resourcing Manager at accounting and professional services firm BDO, who's going to explain what happens during employers' assessment and selection processes. Abs, thank you very much for joining us today. I'm conscious we've talked already about how different the process is applying for a degree apprenticeship as to applying for university. Give us an idea of what you put your applicants through for those who are applying to BDO for a degree apprenticeship.
Thanks for having me, Martin. So firstly, once candidates have applied and made their application online, they can have an online test. So that is all virtual, and that is a combination of numerical tests. So you could think of GCSE level maths, for example, and situational tests to see what a candidate would do in that particular situation. And then you can expect to have a video interview. So these are a set of 4 questions that are asked, and they're pre-recorded as well. So this is just to see how a candidate can communicate in a live interview setup. Once that bit is done, companies do tend to have assessment centres as well. Now, this may or may be face-to-face or may be virtual, depending on the company that candidates apply to. Majority of the firms are doing this virtually for now. And at an assessment centre, a candidate can expect to have group exercises to see how they work in a team. They can have an interview one-on-one with a senior member of staff in the company. They can have a presentation to see how they present one-on-one as well. And they can have a written task as well to see their written communication skills.
So it's incredibly thorough, and I know a lot of university students aged 21, 22 find all of that really very difficult to prepare for. How on earth do you get 18-year-olds up to speed for things which they've literally never done? They might have a CV left over from, perhaps an old retail job or bar work, and they've been through their personal statement, but they won't have experience necessarily of interviewing or taking part in some of the tests you describe.
There are a few tips that I would always give to these students. Firstly, whenever you make a mind up about which company you want to apply for, go to their website. There's a wealth of information available there, and that you can use when you do make that application. There's insight days, there are open days that you were referring to earlier as well. Make sure that you go there as well. But then the most important thing is when you've done your research, that really does show when you come to the interview. And even if you're in school, let's say you worked in a project, let's say you're in a sports team, let's say you've dealt with some public speaking if that's not your strong forte. So these are things that you can always talk about at any application process as well.
But very important for sixth formers to reflect on some of those things so they have those kind of experiences at their fingertips when they're there in an interview.
Absolutely.
How lenient are you on 18-year-olds who are going through this? Because they may not be as polished as they perhaps would be if they were applying for a job later in life.
We have a lot of support available for them before they make their application as well. So the recruiters will always make sure that they're contacting these candidates, making sure that they can talk through them. It's absolutely fine to be nervous when you come to these assessments as well. But more importantly, Martin, it's okay to fail as well. So if you at first are not successful, you will be given some feedback to work on so that you can make an application the year after.
And just one final question, how long does all this take? So from somebody applying to you to making it through to the final round and getting the offer of a degree apprenticeship, how long would that typically take?
I think it shouldn't take more than 2 days if you think about it, because at the online test, it's about 45 minutes. An assessment centre is maximum 5 hours of your day. So it depends on how quickly you do the online test. So within a space of 2 days, you should hopefully have an offer at the end of it as well.
Wow, so a very quick turn.
Very quick.
Fantastic, that's been really useful. Abs Mir from BDO, many thanks.